Grand afternoon, family. Grand afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Escaping the Matrix. Today, I want to talk to you guys about food. Um, Man, I don't even know where to start. Make a long story short and a short story long. We have no more real food. Um, it constantly, well, I won't say constantly, but there are several instances um, throughout the Bible where it talks about a famine, and even in the end days it talks about famines and things of that nature. And as I always tell you guys, it's levels to it. So it is, when it speaks about famines in the end times, it's not just talking about food, it's also talking about a spiritual famine as well. um as far as a lack of true word being out there, and people just having no regard for living righteously. So in the end times, these are things that we're gonna have to deal with. But today, I just want to talk to you guys about food itself, and we'll get further into the spiritual famine in another episode. But the first thing I want to remind you guys is Matthew chapter 4, verse 4. And for context, this is after Yahushua went into the wilderness and fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. He was tempted by Hasatan or Satan or the devil, whatever you want to call him. But like I said, Matthew chapter 4, verse 4. But he answered and said, "It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High." So it's very important that we understand we're not going to make it just off of food itself. We need the word of the Most High, the law, the understanding of what it is that He wills for us to do. So fasting is very important, all right, to detoxify your body of all of these non-real food products that we eat on a daily basis. And I don't want you to get comfortable and thinking, oh, it's just fast food. No, it's the food you have at home that you cook yourself. It's the food in the grocery stores. There's no more real food, and a lot of the real food that is left is what is the word? It's kind of like, what's the word? Hoarded. That's a good word. It's hoarded by the elite. Okay, but as far as us, the bottom feeders, that we ain't got no real food. We ain't got no real food, man, at all. You feel what I'm saying? They're actually paying farmers not to farm. These are things that you could look up as well. I wish I had all the little joints to put it in the background and that, but I'm encouraging you guys to look this stuff up as well. You feel what I'm saying? It ain't just me showing it to you. Go out and look. You feel what I'm saying? Do some research. But we're actually at a point where they're literally paying farmers not to farm anymore. And with the amount of people that we have in the world, there's no way to feed everybody if pretty much everybody ain't farming. You feel what I'm saying? So that's how I can pretty much let you guys know there's no more real food. And we're going to crunch some numbers in a second. But I just want you guys to really understand the gravity of what it is that I'm saying to you. Another reason to escape the matrix using this food premise: when the elite or the people in the know kind of came to each other and was like, there's not enough food to feed everybody, so how do we hide this, or how do we come up with a solution for this? That's where GMOs came in. That's where science came in. And they started messing with the genetics of our food. Genetically modified organisms. GMOs. That's all it is. They go in and they start, it's kind of like the Jurassic Park movie. When they were creating that ultimate dinosaur, they take bits and pieces of different things and they mess with the genetics of one to put it into another. You know what I'm saying? So basically what they would do is rearrange the DNA to make it last longer, rearrange the DNA to make it taste sweeter, you feel what I'm saying, to increase the flavor, things like that. And depending upon what type of food it is, you feel what I'm saying, what they needed to do, this is what they do. But nobody ever took the time out to understand what are the repercussions of us doing this to the food. What ramifications would it have on the human body? Nobody ever thought about these things. And if they did, they just didn't care. Cat Williams had it in his stand-up when he was talking about the McClone combo for 13 cents. You know what I'm saying? Your baby start eating that every day, eating that on the daily. Then one day she in school talking about A, B, C, D, got the horn growing out of it. Yeah, this is what happens. I want you guys to look up GMO-fed rats or GMO-fed animals, and you'll see the different tumors and things that happen to those creatures from eating genetically modified food for so long. It's the same thing that's going to happen to us. Another thing I wanted to point out, I know this happens to a lot of people, especially as of the past couple years. You'll be starving, or you just feel like you hungry as I don't know what, your stomach talking to you, all that. Be like, man, I gotta eat me something. You go order you some Uber Eats, whatever it is, you get to the house, you cut on a movie, you sit down, you ready to tear it up. You take like 2 bites and you full. What do you think that is? What do you think that is a result of? It's your stomach being turned. It's your insides being altered. I tell you guys all the time, man. The one of, like I said, there's levels to this thing, but one of the things that Hasatan or Satan or the devil has always attempted to do was change the genetic code of the Most High's creation, of us. That was always his thing, because he really wanted to stop Christ from being born. And that's also why the Most High destroyed the earth the first time, is because there was almost no flesh left. When they say Noah was a righteous man, he was probably cool. He listened. You feel what I'm saying? But he was also a drunk, which means he wasn't perfect. You feel what I'm saying? We know drunkenness will prevent you from getting to the kingdom. So what was it really? It was the fact that he was the last of the Most High's creation. He was the last of it. He was the last of it. And I apologize because this light is messing with me. It's trying to kick me off, but they ain't going to get me. So he was the last of the Most High's creation. And that's why him and his family was chosen. And we're going to crunch some numbers real quick, and then I'm going to get up on out of here. I try and keep these videos not too long, but I want to make sure I get the point across to you guys. So real quick, there's 330 million people in the United States. We're just going to go with our country for right now. 330 million people, or 333, around there. 330 million people in the United States. Like I told you guys earlier, they're paying farmers actually not to farm. At any given time, there's around, say, 31 million beef cows in the country. 20 million of those are ready for slaughter or are mature enough to be eaten, correct? They weigh about 1,500 pounds apiece. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that 1,500 pounds and multiply it times 20 million cows. That gives us around 30 million pounds of beef per year. And I say per year because it takes around 2 years for a cow to mature, to be of age to be slaughtered. So we got 30 billion pounds of beef per year. All right. McDonald's. We're just going to use McDonald's for our only example right now. McDonald's feeds 68 million people per day. All right. And then according to their website, they have 37,241 stores worldwide. Okay. Now, if one person eats a pound of beef per day, so we have 1 pound of beef per person per day, that's 68 million times 365 days for the year. So for the year, that's 24.8 billion pounds per year that McDonald's by itself uses for their burgers. Now, remember what I told you. Out of the cows and the pounds, we only have 30 billion pounds of beef per year. If McDonald's is using 24.8, or we'll say 25 billion pounds of it by itself, where's the rest of the beef going? Or who else is going to be able to use it? Because you still got Burger King. You still got Walmart, the grocery stores. You got these 5-star restaurants. You feel what I'm saying? You've got who else got burgers, man? Yeah. Arby's, all these other different places, man. Who else is getting beef? If McDonald's by themselves is using 25 billion pounds out of the 30 billion pounds that we have available, who else is getting the beef? There's not enough food to essentially feed the world, man. That's why they have to genetically create or genetically modify our food. And that's why it is harmful to your system. And that's why I'm encouraging you all to get out of the matrix. Because we want to talk about the thugs or the gangsters or people that's selling drugs in our neighborhoods, but are we really any better selling them McDonald's burgers? I just want you to think about that. We're selling them genetically modified food, things that are fake, things that will cause them to have cancerous tumors and things like that. But we're only mad at those selling drugs in the street. You selling them burgers of human meat, horse meat, worms, meat filler, you feel what I'm saying? Pink slime rinsed in ammonia. There's several articles about McDonald's selling human meat, McDonald's selling horse meat. Only 15% beef patties, with the other 85% being pink slime rinsed in ammonia. Get out of the matrix. Let it all go. But that's it for today's episode. I appreciate y'all coming through. Y'all have a blessed weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow.